It's now time for Trivia Tracks with yours truly, Price Robertson. This edition of Trivia Tracks is brought to you by Washita Valley Respiratory Care, where you can breathe a little easier, and Beth Smith at Edward Jones. Edward Jones, making sense of investing, member SIPC. This producer and director helped create the Three Stooges' manic style of Slapstick. Jules White helmed approximately 100 of the trio's 190 short films. He was born Julius Weiss in Budapest on September 17, 1900. He began his career as a child actor for Pathé Studios and appeared in a small role as a Confederate soldier in the landmark 1915 feature The Birth of a Nation. By the 1920s, his older brother Jack had become a successful comedy producer at Educational Pictures, and Jules worked for him as a film editor. Their younger brother Sam later produced such TV shows as Perry Mason and The Outer Limits. Jules became a director in 1926, specializing in comedies. In 1930, White and his childhood friend Zion Myers joined MGM, where they developed the studio's Dogville comedies, which featured trained dogs and satires of recent Hollywood films like The Dogway Melody and So Quiet on the Canine Front. It was at MGM that White first met the Three Stooges, when they still worked for vaudevillian Ted Healy. In 1933, he was appointed head of Columbia Pictures' new short subject division, which became the most prolific comedy factory in Hollywood. At a time when theaters were playing more double feature programs, fewer short comedies were being made. By 1938, Columbia's two-reel comedy department was busier than ever, and White split it into two units. White produced for the first unit, and Hugh McCollum, a former executive secretary for Columbia head Harry Cohn, for the second. Each of Columbia's comedy roster, including the Three Stooges, alternated between the White and McCollum units. With McCollum shouldering some of the administrative burden, White was free to pursue his first love, directing. Physical comedy was the main ingredient in White shorts. Some of his personal favorite gags were used repeatedly over the years. Someone being arrested, protest, "I demand a cheap lawyer," later changed to, "I'm going to get myself a cheap lawyer." Or when he or she accidentally collides with the villain and apologizes, "Sorry, mister, there was a man chasing me." You're the man. White's most familiar gag, where someone is stuck in the posterior by a sharp object, and then yells, "Help! Help! I'm losing my mind!" By the 1950s, White was working so quickly and economically that he could film a new short comedy in a single day. His standard procedure was to borrow footage from older films and shoot a few new scenes, often using the same actors, sets, and costumes. A new 15-minute comedy could contain clever as many as 3 vintage comedies. It was also during this time that Columbia Pictures had downsized its shorts department, ousting Hugh McCollum in the process. By 1956, after other studios had abandoned short subject production, Jules White had the field to himself and experimented with new ideas. Columbia's final attempt at a new short comedy series other than the Three Stooges was Girly Whirls, which spawned only one entry, Tricky Chicks, starring Muriel Landers, who later appeared in the Stooge short Sweet and Hot. Towards the end of 1957, Columbia shut down its shorts department for good, and Jules White decided to call it a career. Though he briefly dabbled in TV in the early 60s, creating the sitcom Oh Those Bells, starring the Weir brothers, an unsuccessful attempt to bring slapstick humor to television. He died of Alzheimer's disease on April 30th, 1985, at the age of 84. Till next time, I'm Price Robertson. Amazed by today's trivia? Then join me every Monday through Friday morning for Trivia Tracks on Fox Sports Camden 97.1.